Whether you're drawn to a watch by aesthetic, mechanical composition, brand notoriety, or purposefulness, the commonality lies in how a watch makes you feel, how it evokes emotion otherwise unfelt. My attachment leans more toward the romanticism of an obsolete, complex system of springs and gears that strives to be infinitely closer to, but never quite reaching the timekeeping perfection of a $10 Casio Square. But I'm a romantic. I say all this to say that watch enthusiasm isn't necessarily rational, and I have a connection with this watch, and I have certain feelings for it because it's attached to a significant piece of my life, but I'm going to do my best to give you an honest breakdown of the pros and cons of this watch and why I still put it on almost every day 2 years later. This Black Bay 58 was a gift from my wife for my first Father's Day as a dad, and it has absolutely dominated my rotation ever since. This thing has micro scratches, it has macro scratches, it has a ding in the bezel, it's covered in toddler finger grease more often than not, but it has absolutely stood the test of time. Many of the features that initially attracted me to the Black Bay 58 are the exact same reasons why I still enjoy it as much as I do today, but it is definitely not without fault. Let's get into some of the specs, and then we'll go over some highlights and lowlights. The Black Bay 58 has a case diameter of 39 millimeters, a lug-to-lug of 47 millimeters, a case thickness of 11.9 millimeters including the crystal and 11 millimeters without, a water resistance of 200 meters, lug width of 20 millimeters with a faux riveted oyster-style bracelet that tapers down to 16 millimeters at the clasp, a sapphire crystal, superluminova, and an in-house Kinesi MT5402 movement with COSC certification. All of this coming in at a retail price of $4,000. With that, let's get into some of the highlights. First being the wearability and appealing vintage aesthetic. The 39mm case size, compact lug-to-lug, and thinness are immediately noticeable when you put this watch on, making it one of the most comfortable wearing steel dive watches you can put on your wrist. These wearing dimensions, combined with a matte black dial, black aluminum bezel insert, and gilt accents throughout, completes a package of look and feel that I became quickly enamored with. The Black Bay 58 brings warmth and character to a category riddled with a myriad of cold, sterile, unfeeling black dial tool watches. 2 years on after acquiring my Black Bay 58, the landscape in the $3,000 to $5,000 range looks a little bit different, but the Black Bay 58 continues to remain a very strong contender in the space. Many of the competitive growth has come from Tudor themselves with offerings of the Pelagos 39, the Medas Black Bay 41s, such as the Monochrome, and of course the Black Bay 58 GMT. While Tudor may be cornering this section of the market as the quintessential tool watch brand sub $5,000, I think some of the appropriate external market comparisons would be with the new TAG Heuer Aquaracer Professional 300 and the Longines Legend Diver, both of which could be compelling alternatives. The TAG opts for a much more contemporary approach, both in design and sizing, with a sleek modern look and a 42mm case at $3,800. The Black Bay 58 will wear much more comfortably on the wrist and offers a vintage-inspired look that I think Tudor really knocked out of the park by taking that mid-century Submariner design and producing a package with all the benefits of the modern quality of manufacturing. Apart from other Tudor options, the Longines offers the most comparable product in the compressor-style Legend Diver, which also leans heavily into vintage dive heritage and comes in a 39mm case at a retail price of $3,300. While competition in this space has gotten tighter, I think looking at the alternatives in the market further drive home what makes the Black Bay 58 stand out the way that it does. The second thing that I like about this watch is that it's not a Rolex. And what I mean by this is that Tudor's largely an enthusiast brand, and nobody's rushing out to buy a Tudor so that they can flex on casuals via social media. If you run into a Rolex-toting bro wearing a Submariner in the wild, there's better than a coin flip's chance they'll have no idea what a Tudor even is. And I like that. I think that's a pro for me. It's a great filter for people that I actually want to have a conversation with about watches. And that's not to say that if you're wearing Rolex, you can't be a watch enthusiast. That's not what I'm saying at all. All I'm saying is that there is a large portion of the Rolex wearing population that isn't that into watches. Highlight number 3, the Black Bay 58 is a strap monster. I constantly rotate this watch on a variety of straps, from the bracelet to several different colored NATOs and even a Horween Chrome Excel leather strap. Though the gilt accents and red zero marker on the bezel hold this back from being a true S-tier strap monster like a Submariner, SPB 143, or Black Dial Speedy, it looks fantastic when paired with other warm colors and allows me to constantly change the look, which I love. Lastly, the Black Bay 58 has great lume and bezel action. The Super Luminova gives you a bright green glow that you'll notice when transitioning from light to dark environments, and then it fades into a long-lasting, soft, legible glow. When charged, it will absolutely stay legible all night. I'm not a big fan of wearing my watch to sleep like some of you weirdos, but I have had a couple times when I had sick kids that needed medicine every few hours, and it was nice to be able to check the time without finding my phone. The bezel action feels and sounds great, but I do have one complaint about that. The coin edge bezel is not the easiest to grip. It's a very light knurling that doesn't significantly extend beyond the edges of the case, and for me, I have a hard time grabbing and turning it as easily as other dive watches. Additionally, the black dial will show every single smudge on the crystal. I'm constantly spit shining the crystal to clean it, much more so than my non-black dial watches. It's a minor point, but a point nonetheless. Lastly, there is no on-the-fly micro adjust on the Black Bay 58. There are 3 micro adjust points on the clasp that can help you find the correct fit, but I have heard anecdotally that some people find themselves in between sizes and can't seem to find that perfect fit. So if you are somebody who prefers a comfortably snug fit with your bracelet, you may find the lack of on-the-fly micro adjust a significant point of contention. And I mean, this is a feature on my $500 Zelos Mako, and the micro adjust on that is fantastic. Just on the fly, pop the clasp open, make an adjustment, throw it back on. It's super easy. And I know Tudor has rolled out the T-Fit clasp on many of its recent releases, but it has not found its way to the Black Bay 58. This has definitely been an item that reviewers and forum goers have called out, and there are a couple of different remedies if it's an important issue for you. The pricier option is jumping for a Ranger bracelet, which you can attempt to lobby for an opportunity to purchase at an AD. I'm trying to remember exactly, but I want to say people were saying it was costing around $800, and it's a similar style bracelet without the faux rivets that fits the Black Bay 58, but comes equipped with a T-Fit clasp. I did not do this. Instead, I opted for an extension link from Steel Reef that gives you an extra 5mm of on-the-fly adjustment when needed, and that works great for me. At the end of the day, I think a watch purchase should be based on how that watch makes you feel and how you feel when you put that watch on. That being said, I think the Black Bay 58 remains an absolute monster at this price point, and the specifications that go along with that definitely support you making this purchase. When I first put this watch on wrist in 2022, it wore better than anything else in the price range, and by my standards, looked better than anything else in the price range, and for me, it absolutely still holds up. If you have any questions or comments or anything else that you want to add to this, feel free to drop a comment below. My name is Derek, and thank you for watching this on Wrist.